Not the most distant thought of subverting the government or of hurting the interests of the people of America. Instead, we are defending the personal rights, freedoms, and liberties from unjust encroachment.
That's right.
There is not the least desire of withdrawing our allegiance from our leaders of the government until it became absolutely necessary. Indeed, it has been the choice of those leaders of the government that we withdraw our allegiance. Our political leaders know that our cause is just. They know that we, the people, struggle for that freedom for which all men are entitled. That we struggle against oppression, seizure, plunder, extortion, and more than savage barbarity. We are not moved by any light or hasty suggestion of anger or revenge.
That's right.
Though every possible change of fortune, we adhere peaceably to this determination. Our property and happiness have been attacked.
That's right.
Our self-defense against an aggressor government is righteous. Our civil action is for the cause of civil justice, a righteous struggle undertaken in defense of our property, our happiness, and our families. It is to oppose the invasions of usurped power we will bravely suffer present hardships and face future dangers to secure the rights of humanity and the blessings of freedom for generations yet unborn. It is our obligation as responsible citizens of this country to set a proper value upon and to defend to the utmost our just rights, the blessings of life and liberty. Without this personal commitment, a few unprincipled individuals would tyrannize the people and make the passive multitude the slaves of their power. Thus, it is that civil action is not only justifiable, but an indispensable duty to correct these wrongs. It is upon these principles that we are resisting what is taking place in our government and will not back down. We await the day when the system of governance in this nation is restored and the Constitution is obeyed.
That's right.
Then we will be a positive and prosperous nation once again. Today, delegates to Continental Congress 2009 and others from each of the several states served this document titled Articles of Freedom with its remedial instructions on our federal government and state government officials, placing them on notice that we, the free people of America, believe them to be in violation of their oath of office and the Constitution for the United States of America.
Yep. You know it, and they know it.
Now I'd like to read the preamble to the Articles of Freedom. The Declaration and Resolves of Continental Congress 2009. In defense of a free people, the time has come to reassert our God-given natural rights and cast off tyranny. Let the facts reveal. The federal government of the United States of America was instituted to secure the individual rights of our citizens and instead now threatens our life, liberty, and property through usurpations of the Constitution. Emboldened by our own lack of responsibility and due diligence in these matters,
unfortunately,
government has exceeded its mandate and abandoned those founding principles which has made our nation exceptional. Our servant government has undertaken these unconstitutional actions in direct violation of their enumerated duties to the detriment of the people's liberty and the sovereignty of our republic. Over many years and spanning multiple political administrations, the people who have, in good conscience, attempted to deliberate our grievances and voice our dissent against those offensive actions through both petition and assembly have been maligned and ignored with contempt.
Yep.
The people of the several states of Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, justly alarmed at these arbitrary and unconstitutional actions, have met as citizen delegates and sat in a General Congress in the city of St. Charles, Illinois, whereupon we, as these citizen delegates, have gathered in defense of divine justice, liberty, and the principles of limited government, now stand in clear recognition of the supreme law of the land, the Constitution for the United States of America.
Yep.
Therefore, we demand that government immediately reestablish constitutional rule of law.
That's right.
Lest we, the people, be forced to do so ourselves. And we hereby serve notice that in the defense of freedom and liberty, there shall be no compromise to which we shall yield. 21 November 2009. We were all excited when this preamble was presented to us by the Committee on the Preamble at the Continental Congress. The entire Congress, after the first reading, stood and applauded for probably 10 minutes. There was not a word changed from the committee that wrote this preamble. I'm proud to say that our representative, the first delegate from Montana, Rick Jor, was part of this committee that came up with this preamble. So Montana had a very strong voice in this preamble to the Articles of Freedom.
Rick Jor for Montana governor.
Think of millions of folks, including members of the armed forces, who have raised their right hand and said, I, repeating their name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. This is the oath of office, and it varies slightly from different offices that take the oath. But the implication is precisely the same. It's an oath to uphold the Constitution.
That's right.
How does anyone who has taken this vow, elected officials especially, reconcile this with the violations that have been committed against our Constitution and what those violations have done and are doing to our beloved America, which will affect generations to come? Let's briefly review some of the violations of the Constitution.
Don't forget.